Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Shankly Sessions, the Liverpool podcast we bring you each and every week on the upper tier. If you could head out there and smash that subscribe and bell notification button and also drop a like on the video, we'd really appreciate it. This is your match reaction and player ratings. Liverpool versus Ajax. Liverpool 2, Ajax 1. The goals from Salah on 17. Kudus for Ajax on 27, and the late show from the one and only Joel Matip on 89 minutes with a header just getting over the line using goal line technology to confirm the goal. But we got there in the end. The scoreline doesn't really reflect the dominance that we had. But certainly, if you look, certainly in the first 10 minutes, we came out with a different energy. There was a purpose about us. We felt like we wanted to right the wrong of last week in Naples. And everyone seemed to be on their game with that energy. The goal came, of course, Mo Salah back on the score sheet. A header from Diaz down to Jota. Jota slips the Salah in, and the goal comes on 17 minutes to put us 1-0 up. And I thought then we would kick on from there. Mo getting his goal, lift that energy, lift the team. But we kind of came back a little bit then after that goal. And then Ajax came back into the game, and of course Trent falling asleep again and not doing his defensive duties. Let the player in, and the ball comes into Kudus. It takes a touch and absolutely rams it into the top of the net on 27 minutes. Just 1 second. Let the old mascot out there. The mascot came in to say hello, Coda. 27 minutes, Kudus gets the goal. We fall asleep. Trent goes asleep. It gives him the opportunity. Trent on 30 with a good effort, trying to absolute powerhouse of a shot there, trying to make up the difference in terms of the mistake that he had made. 41 minutes, double chance for Trent again. Great ball from Matip and Diaz. On 43 minutes, Van Dijk header headed down. No power, very unlucky. A number of chances for Van Dijk tonight. He was really, really unlucky. Should have scored a header or two, to be honest. And I think at half time, the 1-1 scoreline didn't really reflect the game in terms of the chances that were there. I know that Ajax had one or two chances as well, but Liverpool was really the one pressing the play and creating the opportunities. Just 1 second here now. Just want to make sure I go back in there. Then go in at half time, 1-1. Plenty for Klopp to talk about, of course, and plenty for him to do. And he did. Went in there, shook the guys up a little bit and got them going. And certainly we came out in the second half with a bit more about us. Certainly attacking the cop end helps as well. And putting in that energy and trying to suck that ball into the net. Created a number of opportunities in the second half. Lost count at this stage. We'll go through it later in the stats. But, it was just one of those sort of halves where we just couldn't put the ball and we weren't sure whether the goal was going to come, but we kept about our play. At times towards the latter end of the half, we were kind of like abandoning the way we do things, and we were taking shots from distance and stuff like that and all, something we've seen in the past as well when the team gets frustrated up front and stuff like that. Nunez at times is very frustrating when you see what he does. The lad has bags of talent, but on the ball at times he just seems so awkward in his decision making and in his control of the ball and his awareness at those moments about what he should do. But Nunez came on, replaced Jota. And as I said, I'm not sure what goal should have said. Obviously, Bobby came on 64 minutes as well for Elliott. And that was a sign that Liverpool was going up the tempo. But at times, Bobby was dropping so deep. At one stage, I seen him pick up a ball nearly in our own box. And I was going, this is not what I want to see at all. 74 minutes, we had a couple of tackles went in and players moaning at the ref and not concentrating on the play and playing to the whistle. The benchmark and the stuff that we teach even under 10s always play to the referee's whistle. But they weren't playing to the referee's whistle, and it resulted in a great chance for Daley Blind, who could have easily taken the lead with that header just wide. And that would have been a killer as well, the fact that the United connection there as well. But up stepped Joel Matip, 89th minute. The header looked like it was nearly slow motion. If you look at that header going in compared to all the ones that Virgil had, it was like powering them in at times and smashing them in. I have to say on the night, the Ajax keeper, he was pretty good in fairness. Um, on 90 minutes, Diaz goes off, Milner comes on. But Joel, when he scored that goal, you could see the relief in his face and what it meant to him and stuff like that. And how much it meant to the team as well, because they probably, if they had a drawn tonight, that would have been so disappointing because they had put in a real good shift tonight and will reflect it in the ratings. The effort was back there, the play and the passing and all that kind of stuff. Again, at times it looked little bit kind of forced, or a little bit kind of, it needed too much thought. It wasn't as natural as it normally looks, but they still played really well. And the difference between that and last week is night and day. In terms of how they performed. On 90 minutes, Diaz goes off, Milner comes on, and he played a ball up to Darwin. James Milner did, and you're expecting Darwin, like, who shoots the ball across in the box. And I'm thinking, just take the ball up into the corner. A bit of game management here. We're 2-1 up with a couple of minutes to go. Be a bit more cleverer than that. Just a bit of naivety. But ref blew up the whistle, finished 2-1. Liverpool got the 3 points. Campaign is back on track somewhat. And the celebration and the relief all rolled into one, really. Just a bit of talk about the ref tonight. I don't think he was very good at all. I think in the first half, I think he was refereeing well and he was letting stuff go. He was letting tackles go in and stuff like that. Second half, for some reason, he must have looked at the first half and changed his mind, and he started blowing up for a lot of stuff. I know Thiago got very frustrated with him, and so did Luis Diaz as well. He wasn't affording Diaz the protection that he needed. Also with Costas as well. But certainly Thiago got very frustrated and went in on the ref pretty hard at one stage. Won a ball out there with a perfectly good tackle and got blown up for a free kick and stuff like that. So I think it's something that we spoke about on the shows, and we've also mentioned it on the Monday mashup and on the Thursday tier talk, that if you're going to let play, go, and you're going to let tackles go in and stuff like that, you've got to be a bit more consistent. And I know it's very difficult because, one guy's tackle is another guy's free kick and stuff like that. So, like, you just have to be careful in what you let go and what you don't let go, and be really just try and get as close to consistent as you can. And I just thought the two halves was really chalk and cheese in terms of what he was blown up for and stuff like that. I also thought at times a couple of tackles went in that were very questionable, especially the one that went in. I think one went in on Joel Matip, I think, when we were attacking, and it broke down an attacking play, probably deserved a card but didn't get it and stuff like that. So I think just a little bit more consistency, especially at Champions League level. European referees at Champions League level, really have to set the bar. Whatever about the inconsistency we see in the Premier League week on week, in the Champions League at that level of standard, there has to be that bit more consistency. So just a few things there on the ref. Let's have a quick look at the stats. I'll just bring them up here now. I didn't look at too many of them, but these are the main ones to look at. I mean, the only stat that really matters is the top one, the 2-1. Because we just had to find a way to win. A draw tonight would have been no good to us. We had to win this game tonight, and we knew we had to win it. But if you look at the difference in the shots there, Ajax had 3 shots and only 1 on target in the whole game, and Liverpool had 24, 9 of which were on target. Which really tells the tale of the tape in terms of the match and how dominant we were. Although at times we did let Ajax a little bit into the game at times, but generally speaking, we were quite dominant in the game. If you look at the possession, 57-43, I'd say a lot of that sort of swing came in the second half. I think in the first half it was probably close enough. Second half, I think, is where it swung as we became more dominant and we went chasing that winner. Which really pushed us through. Let's have a look at the ratings, which are a stark contrast from Naples, where most of the ratings were a 3 or a 2 or a 1 even. They were pretty bad, But if you look at tonight, let's start with Alisson. Alisson gets a 7. Again, didn't really do a whole lot wrong. I don't think he could have done anything for the goal. It was rifled into the top corner by Kudus. So yeah, I gave Alisson a 7. Trent, I gave a 6 to. I know he was at fault for the goal, but I thought at times he was a little bit better at defending this evening. and then tracking back and stuff like that. And I thought his forward playing, his link-up play with Mo tonight was a lot better than it had been. It didn't look as disjointed, even though mainly in the first half of times Mo looked like the ball was just springing off him again and he wasn't controlling it. But I think the interchange between himself and Trent was much better tonight compared to what it has been. Joel Matip I gave a 9 to. I think Joel is just that calming force in defence and stuff like that, but brings the ball out lovely and sets up the attack and stuff like that as he comes out into midfield with the ball. Did it a number of times tonight, either linking up playing the ball to Thiago or into one of the front men, or drawing the foul to get the free kick. So really good performance from Joel tonight, and I think Joel's performance spread towards Van Dijk as well. Give Van Dijk an 8. I think he was unlucky with a number of chances. Could have had a header or two tonight. But certainly you have to be there to create those opportunities and stuff like that. Much more calm and performance at the back as well. So I thought it was much better by the two centres there tonight. So an 8 and a 9. Costas, I gave an 8 to. Big up Dell. Dell's in the comments there. How are we? Just to let you know, Dell, check out Dell's show. I watched his show on the way home today, and it was really, really good. You were on fire, mate, and you're 100% right. You should be getting some money back from that trip. It's absolutely shocking. But yeah, you went absolutely crazy. So if you get a chance, folks, head over Del Boy Gunner TV. Absolutely brilliant, bringing you content every single day or every couple of days at least. Brilliant stuff. Shout out Del. Not a bother. Thanks, pal. So you went to midfield there. Fabinho, I think I get Fabinho a 7. I think Fabinho was more solid tonight, but he was getting in those tackles as well and getting in those blocks and breaking up the play. Exactly what we expect from Fabinho. So Ajax on the counter, he was constantly breaking up their attacks. Elliot, I gave a 6 to. I don't think he had the influence on the game that he wanted. He looked a bit out of sorts in the first half at times. It was like as if he was trying to get involved in the game and the game was bypassing him a little bit. He also looks he looks a little bit off the pace as well in terms of his decision making when in possession of the ball. He can't seem to make up his mind at times what he wants to do, and sometimes he gets closed down very quickly. And especially by these Ajax players, these are big players as well. They're physical players and stuff like that. So it doesn't always tend to suit Harvey. But certainly the rest that's coming up now for the next few weeks, I think will do him the world of good. I did say last week he was absolutely banjaxed, and I was actually quite shocked tonight that he was picked to play. I would have thought maybe Carvalho might have went in there, or Arthur, I think, because I would have thought maybe he needed a rest out. And if you looked on him on the pitch today, even running around, he just looked a little bit leggy. So the rest will do him the world of good, but fantastic kid. Thiago, I give an 8 to. Really good tonight at pulling the strings and dictating the play and stuff like that and playing the boys in. At times, he's just sometimes on a different wavelength to everyone else, which doesn't always look good. At times, he plays these passes and you look and you go, what was he thinking of doing there? And then when you go back and analyse, you can see what he's trying to do, but just the other guys weren't on his wavelength. But his link-up play and his passing was really, really good. And also his battling, which I like to see tonight. He was getting stuck into the tackles as well, which I like to see for him. I know that he's injury-prone and he was out with an injury and stuff like that, but the way you get your confidence back from that is you get back in and you get stuck in and you ride those tackles and stuff like that. So a good night for Thiago tonight. Salah, I gave a 7 to. Took his goal lovely. Could have had maybe another 1 or 2, especially the one that came slightly later on when he had that chance at the near post when he ran across from the ball in and just went wide. Very unlucky. But he looked like he was a bit more on it tonight, albeit at times when he's in possession, sometimes he looks a little bit weaker at times in terms of the ball getting taken off him. But Ajax were doubling up on him again, the usual that we've seen in recent weeks when Mo Salah's in possession of the ball. Two players pull out there and they absolutely crowd him out at times. Better in the second half. Like I said, his link-up play with Trent and stuff like that was a lot better. And he was tending to look for players as well instead of trying to force it through and stuff like that, which worked a little bit better. Diaz, I gave an 8 to. He's just a ball of energy. He's pressing, he's running around, he's everywhere on the pitch and stuff like that. He's always trying to make things happen. Had a couple of opportunities. He was unlucky not to get on the score sheet tonight. But always trying to create something or move something around. and he loves those runs in left to right for the far corner and stuff like that. I don't know how many times tonight he picked up the ball and he tried to do that, and he went again and again, and it just wouldn't open up for him. But certainly put in a serious shift again tonight. And did really well, and you could see in him coming off and stuff like that. He looked the Ajax, he had put in a shift. Jota up front, I gave a 7 to. Constantly on the press, running in and stuff like that, doing that dirty work that needs to be done, but also getting in amongst the Ajax defenders and stuff like that, and creating that bit of havoc that he does. Again, he was unlucky as well, probably not to pick up a goal tonight. But again, put in a good shift. As you remember, he's only really back from injury and stuff like that, and probably lacking a bit of match fitness, but certainly put himself out there and put himself about, which was great to see. They're your player ratings. Bobby, I was going to give a 6 to. I just think he's still dropping a little bit too deep and stuff like that. At times his passing was okay, but at times he was caught in possession as well. So I gave him a 6. And Nunez, I gave a 6 to as well. He just frustrates me at times. He has all the talent in the world, but for some reason when the ball comes to him, he doesn't actually know what he wants to do with it, and he's not too sure what to do. We know in his previous role he's been a poacher and a goal scorer, so he hasn't really been a provider. But we know the way this Liverpool team sets up. If you set up with a 4-3-3, you're going to be expected to do that work and be a provider as well. And you can see with some of the balls he put in. And again, at the end, with a bit of naivety there, crossing the ball across the Ajax box and taking the ball into the corner and running the clock down a bit, maybe drawing a foul or a corner or something like that. We just need to be a little bit clever in those moments when you're 2-1 up. So important to get the win. So really, really important to do your game management there as you get into injury time. But yeah, give him a 6. Good to get minutes under him again. And now we go on break. I don't think we have a game for 3 weeks. I think our next game is the 1st of October against Brighton. Because the Chelsea game at the weekend has been postponed. But it's good. It gives us time to work on more stuff now. It gives the boys a chance to recharge the batteries and obviously go in with more positivity, better performance, more energy, a bit more precise in the passing and stuff like that. Slight little bit of disjointment still there, but they can work on that and stuff like that. But the main thing is to get people back fit, strengthen the bench, give us more options, and figure out in terms of formation and how we want to play and stuff, what we want to do and stuff like that. I still felt tonight on the 4-3-3, I still felt it got a little bit clustered up front and stuff like that at times. But again, we're just going to have to look at that. We're going to have to figure it out as we go forward. And I suppose the key thing to figure out really is the Nunez role, because it's different from what we've been used to over the last few years. And I just don't think we've figured out yet how to play to his strengths, because he's a goal poacher, and he needs to be between the sticks in order to be at his best. But yeah, happy enough, much happier Red this week. Big win, 2-1 against Ajax. Tightens up the table nicely, and sets us up going into the break and the international break with a bit of positivity, rather than the negativity of the last week, where certain Reds have been questioning players and been questioning Klopp and all this kind of thing. Absolute madness. The gaffer looks like he's on the right track again to figuring things out. The players look like they're coming back to somewhat near their best. And we look forward to the league games returning now the 1st of October. Until next time, Reds, it's been a pleasure. This has been your match reaction and player ratings. And we will be back on Thursday with Thursday Tier Talk, where we'll do a review of all the European action, and we'll come up with some headlines and stuff like that to discuss on the day. The show will be set up tomorrow, so you'll get the link tomorrow afternoon. I will be back with Darren. Mark will be in the comments. He won't be able to join us because he works late on a Thursday. And that's it. We'll obviously do a Premier League preview as well, and we'll be coming at you with Beat the Bookie, our picks for the weekend. My picks didn't go too well tonight. I had Tottenham to win and both teams to score, and I had Harry Kane to get on the score sheet, so it didn't work out quite so. Until next time, Reds, an absolute pleasure. As I said, on your way out, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and we will talk to you again real soon.